Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. We are doing a big one today. We're going to be counting down our pickups that we got, our entire hauls that we got for the November Criterion Collection Sale. I've got it all splayed out all over my desk right here. I'm going to try not to knock everything over while we're doing this, but got a lot of picks, as you can see in the thumbnail. That's just my half, and I've got my good friend here who has just as many pickups on his end, and his name is, as always, Connor Nielsen.
Hi everybody, how are you doing? Yeah, this is interesting. I did not go nearly as big for this November haul that I did back in July, but I still, I think, picked up a lot more than I wanted to. It's just kind of funny that, I guess serendipitous. It's the harmony of the universe and the world, whatever you want to say, that we just happen to get the exact same amount of pickups. So this should, I think, be structured pretty satisfyingly if you are into that kind of equal purchases.
Yeah, we've each got 23 items. I've got more movies than that, but I've got some box sets, as you can see in the thumbnail. I'm going to save those for the end. I'm going to start with my single items, and then we're just going to go back and forth and take turns. Do you have any preamble? Anything crazy happen at this sale? I know in the July sale, my wife got stung by a bee in the Criterion section of Barnes & Noble. Nothing like that happened this time. This was a safe, okay, middle of the road Criterion sale. Anything crazy happen to you?
No, actually. Well, something did, and I'm very happy about it.
Oh.
But you're gonna have to wait for
oh,
that.
Okay. That's.
I will say though, I grabbed a couple of movies off of eBay. And I got a couple, and like 2 or 3 days before the sale went live, the Criterion site did a flash sale. So I got a couple of movies off of that, and I specifically went with those because they're never in stock at stores that are local to me. So I'm kind of happy I did get them because I did not see them in stock at my stores this entire month.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had to do that with Amazon this month. I went to 3 different stores, still couldn't find it, so I had to order. One of these is from Amazon, but the rest are from Barnes & Noble. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and start, since you have that kind of addendum. We'll go ahead and do Connor's number 1.
All right, so my first pickup, this is from the flash sale. This is one of those movies that if you're tuning in after the July, this is sort of a follow-up from the July sale. I said my next pickup was going to be F for Fake. This is the Orson Welles film from 1975, and this is spine number 288. This was the last Orson Welles film in the Criterion Collection that I needed to grab, although another one of his movies also came to the collection this month. I'm really excited to check this out. Of later Welles, this is considered probably his biggest of his later career. This is when he started blurring the lines between documentary, nonfiction, and fiction. And from what I understand, I heard somebody once refer to this movie as, if you want to actually understand what postmodernism is, don't read like unintelligible philosophy. Just watch this movie because it's a pretty good guide, apparently. So I'm excited to finally check this out. I'm probably going to watch through all of Orson Welles' films next year as like my New Year's resolution, the same way I did for Ridley Scott earlier this year. So really happy to finally pick this up.
Cool. All right, so a little preface here. I'm doing these kind of in sections, and this first section of 4 films is a collection of things that I watched in October when we were doing our like kind of Spooktober movie challenge. We were trying to get through as many spooky movies as we could, and I watched all of these in that month, and I liked these 4 enough that I wanted to pick them up this month, so I'm glad I did. So the first one on the stack here is Carnival of Souls. Look at that. Beautiful cover. I love when they do illustration. I wish they were all illustrated. But yeah, that's really cool. This is I know you watched this too. I really like this. I like the whole feel of this. I love 60s movies in general. Just like 60s and 30s, man, are like my 2 favorite decades. I might like 30s a little more, but 60s, I don't know what it is. It's just like, it's just got such a homey, comfy feel for me. It's cozy. And this had that, and then it also subverts that at the end with like this really, all the way through really, with this creepy, ominous. Oh, I love the organ score in this. I don't know. There's a lot I can say about this. I won't talk too much about these because we have a lot to get through. But Carnival of Souls. I recommend it. It's got a nice black and white scheme.
That movie reminded me a lot of an episode of The Twilight Zone. And
yeah, I could see that.
So then in my head, I kind of pair that with Night of the Living Dead, another 60s horror movie that I like a lot that also kind of has that Twilight Zone-esque feel.
Yeah, you told me I need to watch that right after you found out that I liked this, and I will have to watch that at some point. I think it's everywhere, right? Because it's in the public domain. I was going to say it's on Criterion Channel, but yeah, it definitely is because it's everywhere.
The Criterion restoration on it, like they made that thing look better than it will ever look.
Yeah,
It is gorgeous.
Cool, that's good. And I watched this on the channel too, and I'm excited to dig into. Probably not till next Halloween or something, but there's a lot of bonus features on this one, so I'm excited to dig into that one. Still haven't cracked it open.
Oh, shall I go on to my next?
Yeah,
pick?
what's your next one?
All right, this is one I've been wanting to actually watch this movie for a long time. I thought the title and the cover art of this was evocative, and you watched this earlier this year and loved it, so I just had to pick it up. This is another one that's never in stock at my store, and so I grabbed this on the flash sale. This was the other movie I got through the flash sale, and that was The Phantom Carriage.
Yeah.
This is the 1921 film. It's a silent movie, and I will be watching it this New Year's Eve or around.
I'll go ahead and just do that one next then, because that was literally right on my stack, and I got it too. And this was the one that you were right is never in stock anywhere. I had to go to Amazon to get this. Luckily, they're kind of jerks and like steal Barnes & Noble's thunder, and they also do the half off sale. So this was $20 on Amazon too. So I was able to get it. I love this movie. I describe it as like the It's a Wonderful Life. It's like such a companion piece to that movie. It's also a holiday. It's also got a different, like mythical, like godly creature that's like taking this guy back through his entire life and how it shows him all the decisions he's made to lead him where he is. It's really good. I won't say too much because Connor's going to watch this on New Year's, and this is a New Year's movie. It's a different holiday. It's not Christmas like It's a Wonderful Life, but it's so good. And I love the cover that goes all the way through, all the way to the back. I love how it carries through there, and it uses the ground as a design element, which is really cool. I love the blue, the dark blue, like moody color that they use. I love the booklet on this. I don't know if you've opened yours yet, but the wagon wheel is the disc, which is awesome. I love everything about this. I love this movie, and I'm really glad that they gave it a really cool cover. And I don't know what the bonus features are. It looks like there's quite a bit. So yeah, haven't had time to like dig in and look at all the bonus features on these, so I'm not going to be very helpful, but I highly recommend this movie if you haven't seen it yet. It's really cool. The Phantom Carriage.
Yeah, it really, really good design on that one. Big fan of it. This next one is an early spy number in the collection and kind of a notorious movie. It's not the film Notorious by Alfred Hitchcock, sadly, but it is Pier Paolo Pasolini's Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. This is, I think, largely thought of to be sort of like a proto-torture porn movie, and it's kind of a torture movie, but it's also sort of seen as like a really good art film. It's so extreme, apparently, that instead of saying where the director usually approves it or just saying Blu-ray combo pack or Blu-ray special edition, it says Blu-ray special edition, warning, explicit content. So I'm kind of taking this on faith that it's a good movie. I hope that the kind of extremistness of the events that happen in this are more tasteful than exploitative. But I just wanted to I didn't even take this out of the shrink wrap yet because I wanted to show off that sticker. But I got this off of eBay because it has this cool digipack release, and I wanted to get that instead of the usual kind of generic jewel case.
Yeah, I've seen that one, and just by the cover alone, it looks like some stuff happens that I'm gonna have to ask you how you like that one when you watch it, or if you maybe like is the wrong word, but what you think?
If it's worth it.
Yeah. All right, my next one is a familiar face here. we did a Criterion Corner on this one recently while you were at my house. It's Diabolique! Oh, I was so jealous of you when you had this here. He brought it with him when he came to visit, and I was very jealous. And I have one now. This is the first one I got on my first day of the November sale. I had to get this one. It's so cool. I love everything about the cover. Well, I won't say that. I love the front cover. I wish they didn't use this gray with the red. It clashes for me. I wish it was either the black or the white. It's just something besides that light gray on the red that looks a little weird. It looks a little weird on the shelf when you're looking at it. But I've watched most of the bonus features on this because they're on the channel, and I watched those in preparation for our discussion video that we did about this movie. I've said everything I need to say, everything I can say about this movie because we talked about it for over an hour. So I won't say anything else about it, but Diabolique is awesome, and the cover is so cool. That's my number 3. What you got? Oh, I think you muted yourself.
I did. My bad. Well, speaking of movies that are relevant to when I came to visit you, this is something you showed off in our top 10 box sets videos, and I took it off the shelf and held it in my hands in the video we did where I rated your shelf, and I had to get it for myself. This was another one I needed to go onto eBay to get. It is the Digipack dual format release of It's a Mad World.
I'm so glad you got that, man, because they don't have that anymore. It's out of print, and they just have the regular standard jewel case edition.
But it's so beautiful. I mean, look at that, and all the artwork on it. Oh my goodness! And the way it just opens up, and all the discs that match the text on the inside. I won't open it up all the way because you've already done that in a previous video.
Yeah,
I've already done that in a previous video.
Yeah, we talked about that. I showed it off extensively in our top 10 box sets video. I think that was my number 3 or 4. It was pretty high up there. It's such a cool set.
And I just think the artwork also just lends itself very well to a digibook. I like how it uses the white negative space, and I think having a jewel case kind of robs the neat sort of minimalism of the poster. So I really like it.
Sweet. I'm with you, man. That's a great pick. I'm glad you were able to get your hands on one of those. All right. My last one to round out the October little collection of movies that I watched for the first time this year is a very special one to this channel also because we just did a watch along on this movie. It's House. I got it.
House!
I was not expecting to buy this before even after I watched it. For the first time, I still was I really enjoyed that. That was crazy, but I don't think I'm gonna buy it. But after we did the watch along, and we had so much fun watching that with our buddy Austin, I was like, I have to get this. This is gonna be a movie that I show someone probably every year from now on because it's so weird. And look at that. Of course, that's gonna be the cover. That's the best image. And then look at the back. I love how different the back is. I love that it's not just usually the backs of these are just standard white or black. This one's crazy, and it's got those action lines that were all throughout the movie, especially in the piano scene. And it's got the logo up there. It's got the clouds, the over the top crazy purple and blue clouds that just represents the crazy editing of that movie. I don't know. This is really cool. I'm glad I picked it up. And see, that looks better. The white with the red. There you go, Diabolique. Just look at that. Or the kind of the orangish. But yeah, that image is now going to be burned into my mind forever. I might have to get that T-shirt that Criterion sells. The only T-shirt that they sell that's branded from a movie and not just the Criterion logo is this image. I don't know why, but they have an orange shirt, and I was looking at that the other day. It's pretty funny. But yeah,
I have also thought about getting that shirt as well.
Yeah, I mean, so we haven't. We've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to say anything else. But yeah, House is crazy, and definitely check it out if you can get it, especially on sale. $20 is nothing for this.
Also, just a quick question about it. You said you were going to show that to people. I know your wife wandered downstairs while you were in the middle of watching that during one of the crazier scenes, which is saying something because that movie is bug nuts insane, and I love every minute of it. But are you ever going to show her that movie?
I would. I don't know if she'll ever watch it with me. Probably eventually. But yeah, she came down during the knives lamp scene and she was like, what are you watching? And then she went upstairs. But yeah, maybe someday.
Well, hearkening back to the artwork that was on the Diabolique set, this is another very early installment on the Criterion Collection. This is spine number 18. I didn't say, but Salo was spine number 17. This is number 18, and it is Samuel Fuller's The Naked Kiss. And I really like the artwork on this. It kind of looks like Daniel, is it Clowes or Cowis, the guy who did the Ghost World graphic novel. But this kind of looks very similar to that kind of art. It looks very similar to the Diabolique art. But Samuel Fuller is a filmmaker who was making basically schlock in the 1950s that was seen as like sort of campy exploitation movies, but at the time were seen as just normal film noirs. But over time, he's sort of been reappraised as this kind of interesting shockmeister that made some really transgressive and provocative films that actually hold up pretty well. And this one is kind of crazy because it's about a prostitute who kills a guy and then runs to the suburbs to hide. And I don't know, here it's really good. I have reached the point in my Criterion collecting where I just pretty much buy things to own the early stuff. So here we go. I'm at that part. Anyways, that's The Naked Kiss by Samuel Fuller.
Cool. Yeah, I've not heard of that one. I'm going to be interested to see what you think of that one. All right. What is my next one? Okay, so I'm moving on to another section of movies here. This next section is movies that my wife picked up this sale. Because my wife loves shopping and buying things, and I really got into Criterion, so of course now she is into it. So, well, movies have always been our thing. Like, ever since we first started dating, our very first date was a movie. Our first couple dates were movies. And so movies have always been our thing, but she didn't know about the Criterion Collection. Now that I'm really into it, she's been getting into it too. So these ones are ones that she picked up this month that I don't know much about or have much interest in, but I'm gonna watch them with her because she has some interest in them. This one, everybody knows. This is a huge one. Silence of the Lambs. Not even just in Criterion. This is just like a huge movie all around. This is like Best Picture, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Silence of the Lambs. My wife is a huge true crime fan. She listens to the podcast. She watches all the shows and all the movies. She hasn't seen this one for the longest time just because she's heard it's pretty rough. But Connor has kind of allayed those fears and said it's not as bad as people make it out to be. And so I guess I'm going to watch this with my wife, even though I don't care about true crime or murders or anything. But I'm going to watch it with her, and everyone says it's great. So look at that. I love that it's a digipack. I haven't opened it yet. I love when they do the digipacks. And it's like, it's just like dripping blood or something on the side. It's like a nice red and black. And then this side's a little different, which is cool. I like when they mix it up. But yeah, it's cool. I'm sure I'll know what that thing is, that moth, when I watch it. But yeah, Silence of the Lambs. That's my next one.
It's a great movie. I was honestly surprised when I was talking to your wife when I was in Atlanta that she said that she hadn't seen it, even though she is really into that kind of stuff. And it kind of does have a reputation of being this big, shocking movie, but it also came out in 1991, and it also was classy enough to win Best Picture. Not just Best Picture, it's the last movie to win the big 5 awards, like sweep all those categories. So we're talking Best Lead Actor, Best Lead Actress, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. So it's great. It's a classic for a reason. So I'm excited to see what your response to it is.
Wow. High praise from Connor and high praise from everybody. So yeah, I'm going to check it out. We'll probably watch it soon. So I'll let you know.
My next pick is another early film. So I got 17 with Salo, 18 The Naked Kiss, and 19 Shock Corridor. This is another Samuel Fuller, and it actually has I think it's the same artist came in and did the 2 covers, and they sort of mirror one another.
Yeah, that's cool.
A similar design, and I like on the spines.
I like the color pink scheme matches too.
Yeah, the pink and yellow are inverted on the spines there. So I really think that's cool. And the premise of this movie is pretty interesting. It's basically about a reporter who really wants a Pulitzer Prize, and he basically pretends to be a crazy person to get sent to a sanitarium to see how conditions are in sanitariums, and he ends up going crazy while he's there, or is he? Basically, it's taking the sort of Black Like Me approach to, but instead of somebody changing their race, they're kind of pleading the insanity to get the inside scoop, and then it bites them in the keister. So it sounds like a fun kind of, again, shock exploitation thriller from the 1960s. This is 1963. So I'm excited to jump into these two, and hopefully it was worth the money.
All right. This next one is another one my wife picked up with really cool art and a crazy spine. One of the craziest spines I've ever seen in the Criterion Collection. It's called Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Look at that. Really pops. It's got like polka dot spine with like a crazy red down the middle. It's really crazy. I don't know a lot about this. It's like she hadn't heard of it until we got in the store, and then she just read the back and was like, "This sounds awesome." It's like a dark comedy, like a pretty dark comedy about this woman who's like life is falling apart and stuff. I think it's got Antonio Banderas in it. It's like one of his early roles, 1988. So yeah, I'm gonna check this one out with her too. This is totally a blind buy that the premise sounded interesting to her, so she picked it up, and I'm assuming it's gonna be kind of like a crime thing or something. At least something's gonna happen that's gonna make a movie out of this, and she doesn't just like kill herself, I'm assuming. But yeah, that's Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, and it says women, so I'm assuming she meets someone else who's also going through some crazy stuff. So that's my next one.
Is that Pedro Almodovar, the director of that?
Oh yes, it says right here, a film by Almodovar.
Okay, because I've only seen a couple of his movies, some of his more recent stuff, but I know like he is one of those guys who a sect of film fans do consider him like the best living director. So I want to go back and watch a lot of his stuff. And apparently, like, yeah, he and Antonio Banderas did a lot of movies back in the late 80s, early 90s together.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so I'm excited to check that one out too. That's my next one.
My next pick is a blind buy. This is another early one that I'm basically just owning as basically a completionist now. This is a bad habit
especially
to have.
With Criterion Collection, who has over 1,000 in the collection now.
Yes. I made a realization while I was buying stuff this month is that by spine number count, there's a greater number of movies, but by spine number count, I now own more than 200 Criterion spines.
Oh.
Uh-oh, I think I cut out for a second.
Froze,
did you hear what I said?
You froze right when you said that, and it looked like someone took you out right as you were admitting that. 200. So that whole thing, I can see behind you. I'll cut to your screen so people can see it, but you have your little Criterion shelf back there, and it looks like you've taken a ton of things off there because everything's falling over. So I'm guessing you have those are all from this month.
Yes, pretty much. That's basically what happening is.
So
the sale is, you can see it.
So that shelf plus everything you have like to your right or to your left is 200 plus, you say.
And there's more in my bedroom that I need to like get a second shelf to put on. So
oh man, you got a problem. As you can see from the thumbnail, we both have a problem. We need professional help.
Yes, we do. So my next pick is a movie from the mid-'70s. It's from director Peter Weir, who did make, later on, he made Dead Poet Society. I think he made The Truman Show. He made Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World.
Oh, yeah.
But this is one of his earlier films. It is called Picnic at Hanging Rock. I don't know much about this, except I think there's like a crime element to it. Oh. And it is
that a
the
shot
movie
from
that
the movie?
got it. I think
that's a beautiful cinematography. Good grief! If that's just a still from the movie, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's a really cool image, and I guess there's like a sort of mystery, missing investigation kind of crime element to it. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious to finally check this out. This is, as far as like Australian new wave, this is sort of the more Oscar-y awards darling of that, because I've seen the Mad Max movies, which are also considered a part of the Australian new wave. Those movies are awesome action movies, but this is kind of more of like the elegant, sophisticated movies. And I like what I've seen from Peter Weir, so I'm excited to check this out.
Nice. All right, my next one I have here is another one that my wife picked out. I don't know why she picked this one out. I think she just read the premise and she likes Cary Grant. We both like Cary Grant a lot, but this is a Cary Grant movie. Spoiler alert. It is Only Angels Have Wings. Have you heard of this?
I have not, but that is some killer poster.
It's so cool. All right, so this I've actually watched already, as you can see. I've already opened it, and I want to show this real quick. This is a really cool booklet. It's not just like a book. It opens up as like a poster right there, and then it keeps going. It's like a fold out. That's how they did the essays on this one, which is really cool. It's got like this, this kind of thing that we always do now, where it's like a portrait of the old days when everyone gets together, like Zack Snyder did in Justice League or whatever. And it's really cool here. This is like the main cast of the movie. What this is, I actually watched this because it kind of fits into our movie challenge that we did this month. We did adventure through November, so I've been watching a lot of adventure movies, and this is technically an adventure movie. It's not like someone, I don't know if I would call it an adventure movie after having seen it, but it's what it's listed as in Letterboxd, and I see why they're saying that, because I don't know what you would call this movie, because it's kind of a drama. It's just like an adventure drama. There's romance in it, but it's basically I think it's set before it takes place. Actually, it's from 1939, so it might be like modern day when it was made, but it's all about pilots. They have Cary Grant is like the guy in charge of this. I don't know what you call that. It's not an airport. It's just like for one person flyers to like deliver mail and stuff. So he has all these pilots under him, and they have to like deliver mail in like these horrible circumstances, like in storms, and like it's just basically shows you how horrifying it is to be a pilot, especially in this time. I'm sure like we've enhanced the technology nowadays, but I'm sure it's still probably super dangerous. But yeah, like there's like plane crashes, and he loses pilots, and it's super dramatic and super tense. Like there's some incredible model work in this. I was on the edge of my seat. I was not expecting it to be so suspenseful. And what's really cool is the guy from It's a Wonderful Life. I think his name's Billy. In It's a Wonderful Life, the guy who loses the money. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
He's in this, much younger. This is 39, so he's about 8 years younger. It's really cool to see him. He's still older. He's still an older character in this. But yeah, this is a romance between Cary Grant and Jean Arthur. But that's kind of it's kind of woven throughout. But it's not. It's like the B story. The A story is holy crap, don't be a pilot because it's terrifying. So yeah, that was really good. I recommend that one a lot. And I love the yellow spine. And the yellow kind of just goes throughout the whole artwork. It's on the front, it's on the back. Really cool. I love the ones that have black and white artwork with just like a pop of color. This is one of those.
Yes.
Really cool.
That's gorgeous. And the 1930s strike again. It's your favorite decade.
I'm telling you, man, I could just, if I had to pick a decade, I could just camp out in the 30s, just stay there, and I'd be fine. If it's a desert island situation, I can only pick one decade, I'd be totally fine with the 30s. 39, too, is an incredible year for movies.
Yes. My next pick is actually, I bought this blind buy because it's related to a movie that we've talked about. When I went to Atlanta, we talked about Diabolique, which is spine number, I believe, 35. This is spine number 36, and it's another film by Henri-Georges Clouzot, and it's The Wages of Fear. And this also stars Mr. Clouzot's wife, who played Christina in Diabolique. So I don't know much about this movie except that it's about a bunch of deplorable people stuck in one location, and it's apparently really, really darn good. But I really enjoy what apparently like it involves some kind of company that has this logo, and they put the logo on the disc, which is pretty neat design.
Oh, that's classy.
because the inner splash is a still from the movie, and on the truck you can see that logo.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm really interested to check this out. I'm wanting to watch more of Clouseau after watching Diabolique, and this is the movie he made right before that. So
interesting.
Wages of Fear.
That's awesome.
Spy number 36.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to check out more of his work, especially after Hitchcock was such a big fan of his stuff. All right, this is another one. This is the last one that I know kind of nothing about because this is another one my wife picked up. It is called Leave Her to Heaven. Have you seen this?
I have not.
I don't know anything about this movie, but it has got a really cool blue and red color scheme. But yeah, this is one she picked up just based on the premise as I was looking at stuff. That's the danger of me looking at Criterions for so long, is like she's going to get bored and just look at stuff herself, and then we're going to end up buying twice as much. But yeah, that's why I spent so much this time. I said in July that I was not going to spend as much in the November sale, but I actually got, I think, more movies this time. But that's because my wife got, like I said, these last 5 or 4 or the next one have been hers. But yeah, I'm interested to check this one out. I don't know any of the actors involved in this, but this is a 1945 movie, so 30s and 40s is right up my alley. I like that the kind of painterly portrait they did on the front of this. But yeah, that's Leave Her to Heaven. If you know anything about this movie, let me know in the comments if it's great or what it's about, because this is a total, literal blind buy for me because I didn't buy it.
Who's the lead of that? Is that like Lauren Bacall or someone?
It says Gene Tierney and Cornell Wilde.
Okay, interesting. I don't know those people. So, what year is that?
1945. I think it's a Hollywood movie. I don't think it's foreign. So yeah, total blind, but hopefully it's great. I'm sure it's at least pretty good. The Criterion channel hasn't steered me wrong before, except for I didn't like Badlands. Sorry, Badlands fans, but I wasn't a big fan of that movie.
It's interesting. There's like, when you look at early Criterion, they'll generally do 2 films by a filmmaker, and it's usually the films they did back to back, but it'll be their older movie and then the movie they did just before that. But you know what I mean? Instead of like having it in release order, it's like for example,
Weird.
Number 35 was Diabolique, Henry Georges Clouseau, and that was 55. And 36 was Wages of Fear, 1953. So it's 2 years earlier, but it's Spy number 36. And they do those like kind of couplets there, where it was 2 Samuel Fuller movies, 2 Henri Georges Clouseau films, and now the next 2 are by the same Japanese filmmaker, Seijun Suzuki. And apparently he makes crazy, insane action movies. And I just read the back. These are blind buys. I just read the back of the box, and I was like, I gotta watch what happens in this. And the first one is Branded to Kill. Now this cover is really, really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
It's kind of what you were saying, where it's going with the black and white, but then having one color that pops. In this case, having it be pink. It's really neat. All these like little moths or butterflies is an interesting choice that is kind of evocative. But listen to this. To the description on the back. When Japanese new wave bad boy Seijun Suzuki delivered this brutal, hilarious, and visually inspired masterpiece to the executives at his studio, he was promptly fired. Branded to Kill tells the ecstatically bent story of a Yakuza assassin with a fetish for sniffing steamed rice who botches a job and ends up a target himself. So, yeah. Apparently it is just complete crazy 60s pop art violence, and
wow.
Sounds like fun to me. Sounds like my kind of thing, so I picked this up. And this is Spy number 38.
Awesome. My next one is not anywhere near that early. This is a very, very recent one. My next one is actually, I'll say, it's High Sierra. No, Spy number 1099. This is like October. It's like a couple months ago. This one just came out. Mm-hmm. So I have a friend of mine who's into Criterion movies here, and he was looking for this one. Actually, so quick story. I actually went, my second trip was with this guy. We went together and brought our kids, which was kind of madness, having 2 3-year-olds and a 1-year-old running around the store while we were trying to look through these. So I couldn't look and get as much stuff as I wanted to, but I got a few of these that day. And that day he was looking for High Sierra, and they didn't have it. So when I went later on to a different store with my wife, it was where she got those ones, I picked this up I got it for him. And then I talked to him, and it turns out he already found one. So I kept it. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I didn't know anything about it at the time, but now that I've read more about it, it sounds interesting. It's got Humphrey Bogart, so like, what can go wrong? I mean, it's a 40s film noir. It's from 1941. I have not seen anywhere near enough noir movies, hardly any. So this is supposed to be one of the best. So I'm excited to check it out. Have you seen this one yet?
I have not, but that's the same year as The Maltese Falcon, which
I know, crazy,
is the year film noir was created by Humphrey Bogart in a John Huston movie. So that's awesome. I need to seek that one out.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love I don't even know if you can see the art, but it's like super detailed on their faces, but it's also got that mountain range in the back. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm excited to check that one out. We almost watched this one. It was between this and Only Angels Have Wings that night, and I picked that one. But we almost watched this one the next day, but something came up. So eventually, I'll check it out.
Awesome. My next pick is keeping it with Saijun Suzuki. This is Spy Number 39.
Oh, real quick, sorry.
Sorry,
before you get going.
Oh, what's up?
Ethan Edwards is in the chat with us. We're in the live chat with us, and he said Leave Her to Heaven is a beautiful film. So I'm taking his word for it on that. And he also says, hey, I didn't know Jimmy Fallon collected Criterions.
Oh, me having a very expressive laugh in response to that.
Yeah, that just added to the impression.
No way.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you said that, Ethan. You don't know this, but Connor hates it when people call him Jimmy Fallon, so I'm so glad you did that.
I got Carl Urban once. I'll take it. I'm happy with that. Okay. But I guess I'll just stick with Jimmy Fallon. But I'm going to keep it with Saijun Suzuki. Branded to Kill sounds cool and all, but this is the one he did right before it in 1966. This is Spy Number 39, and it's Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift.
Oh, I was like, I was about to, what?
First of all, this cover art is awesome. Look at that dude rocking the white turtleneck with the yellow blazer. And it looks like this sort of
that's amazing.
Stylized...
It looks like a Rick Astley music video.
It does, but like it looks so stagey and pop art and colorful and cool and expressive. And the colors are neat with like that baby blue with the hot pink and the black, and the muzzle flares are like red, and he's got the yellow like blazer. That is one awesome cover. But then also look at the spine. It is this checkerboard print, keeping it with the baby blue and the hot pink for the word drifter. And then on the back, it's got a still from the movie, which is not very common for Criterions. But DJ, let me read you the description on the back of this, because I had to buy this. This
guy's movies sound crazy. So
Connor Nielsen movie. You know, this is how you sell Connor Nielsen a movie in like one paragraph. All right. In this jazzy gangster film, reformed killer Tetsu's attempt to go straight is thwarted when his former cohorts call him back to Tokyo to help battle a rival gang. Director Saijun Suzuki's onslaught of stylized violence and trippy colors is equal parts Russ Meyer, Samuel Fuller, and Nagisa Oshima. And everything goes in-your-face rampage. Tokyo Drifter is a delirious highlight in the brilliantly excessive Japanese cinema of the 60s. Hell yeah. Give it to me. I am checking this out. The 2nd November is over.
That's amazing. Oh, man. You're getting me excited. All right, so that is the end of ones that I haven't seen. Well, not the end, but most of these I've seen, so I have a little bit more to say, and it won't seem like I'm just buying stuff for no reason. This next one This next is kind of another section of movies that I've been going through. So I've been going through Charlie Chaplin's movies on the channel with my son. He's been really enjoying these. And this was I'll go with this one. This is the first one we watched in October, actually. It's The Circus. And I highly recommend this. This is such a fun movie. And it looks amazing. I don't know how they made this movie look so good with the restoration. It looks like it was made yesterday. It looks crazy. It's so crystal clear. And I love the artwork. I love that red, yellow, and kind of orangish color scheme they got. Spine is really simple and cool. This is actually, it looks kind of black, but it's actually like a bluish, really dark blue purplish. It's also the drop shadow on the Circus typography up there. But yeah, this is a really, really fun movie. My son, my 3-year-old, was like cracking up. Charlie Chaplin's hilarious. Everybody knows that. I'm not surprising anyone, but I hadn't seen any of his films. And I'm really glad I've been checking these out. The channel has pretty much all of them, so I've got 2 more here that I'm gonna get to. But yeah, The Circus is really great, and some really great stunts in this. Like some of the high wire work that he does, like clearly him for a lot of it because his face is right there on camera. But it's great. I highly recommend Charlie Chaplin's The Circus.
I need to watch more Chaplin in general. I think I've only seen Modern Times, but you talking about The Kid and The Circus has
they're fun. I mean, they're not gonna like. The Kid actually is really emotional, but this one's more fun. It's like there's a little romance story that's kind of in the background, but it's mostly just like shenanigans and kind of hilarious physical comedy that he's doing, which is perfect. And I don't know if I've ever told you this, Connor, but I love The Circus as just a setting. Like if you set a movie in either a circus or like a mental hospital, those are like the 2 settings that I think are so cool for movies. Unfortunately, they're usually horror movies, but this is not a horror movie, and it's in a circus, and it's really cool.
Awesome. My next pick is a filmmaker that I've been wanting to get into a lot more. We kind of talked about this a little bit when we were talking about Journey to the Beginning of Time, and that is Terry Gilliam with the film Brazil.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
The movie I think that this often gets compared most to is Blade Runner, and that it's a 1980s science fiction film that is celebrated and beloved and has a massive cult following, but the theatrical release is sort of a chopped up, studio mandated, compromised disaster. So this came out in 1985, but this has the 142-minute director's cut as just like the main feature of the movie. But as a bonus feature, it includes what is called the Love Conquers All version, which is the studio's 94-minute happy ending cut of Brazil. So I guess he doesn't have a happy ending. I've never seen this movie, but apparently he doesn't have a happy ending. Very similar to Blade Runner. The studio said the ending is way too ambiguous. We don't know if it's happy or not. So shoot an additional ending that extends the ending of Blade Runner so you know everything's fine.
Wow.
I'm very curious to check this out. Obviously, Terry Gilliam is a much different filmmaker than Ridley Scott, but this has Robert De Niro in it. And I want to watch more Terry Gilliam. I want to watch Time Bandits, and I want to watch this. I did not pick up Time Bandits because I want the Criterion release, the Criterion Blu-ray that has the lenticular
biggest
sleeve
mistake
on
of
it.
my life.
So,
I'm kicking myself still. I found that at a Half Price Books for like $30, and if you try to find it online now, it's like, and I didn't pick it up because I hadn't seen it yet, and I was like, should I take the risk? That was before I was like really into this. I think that was even before the July sale. So I was just like, I haven't seen it, I don't know. And now I look on eBay and it goes for like $120. I know. Oh, the slipcover, and it was in such good shape. Like someone got that for a steal, and I was the chump that didn't get it. But it's funny that you say movie that had the studio made them shoot another ending for because it was too ambiguous. Because I have a movie that did that exact same thing. Coming up, not next, but eventually.
Yes. Well, tell us what your next pick is, because Brazil was number 51, and I finally own it. I feel like I should have gotten this a long time ago.
I'm interested in that too. And another, also, take note, studios, another way to immediately sell Connor on a film is to compare it to Blade Runner, because that is one of his favorite films of all time. All right, let's keep the Charlie Chaplin game going. I'm going to go with the next one we watched. It is The Kid. Amazing movie. Oh, so good. If you are a father, or you want to be a father, or you have a father, watch this movie. It's so heartwarming, and so it's really funny, and it's another Charlie Chaplin movie. I watched this with my son. He loved it. This is actually a shorter film. I think it's only like 45 minutes. So if you don't have enough time to watch a whole movie, and you have the Criterion channel, check this out, because it's super quick, and it feels super quick, but it's really good. I highly recommend it. I don't really want to say too much. Basically, a woman has no choice but to give up her child, and she gives it to a rich couple. She kind of leaves it in their car, but then these two crooks steal that car right after she does it, and then they just throw the baby in a dumpster somewhere. And then Charlie Chaplin plays this like hobo, homeless guy, pickpocket, kind of just low life, and then he ends up with the baby through some shenanigans and kind of no fault of his own, just being a good guy, and then he has to raise the kid, and it's great. It's so good. I really love this movie. Highly recommend it. I would, if you haven't seen any Charlie Chaplin, I would kind of watch this as your first one. That's for you, Connor. I recommend doing this as kind of the introduction, because it's short, and it gives you the heart and the humor, and I think it's his first film. So if you're going in chronological order, then you might as well just start with this one. Awesome.
My friend loves that movie. It makes him weep. So I gotta check it out, you know?
Yeah. And I would, well, I kind of wish you didn't know that, because like, I think that's why it makes you weep, is because it kind of catches you off guard, because you're not expecting that. I don't want to go into this thinking it's like the most emotional thing ever, but just go into it thinking it's a fun movie, and I think it'll catch you off guard, because you know how expectations can play into things. I don't want to set you up too high, but I think it is a great film.
Well, awesome. I will be watching that. My next film is like, I mean, I know it's called the Criterion Collection, but this is like your entry level. Everyone gets this one in like their first 5. This is like a staple of the collection. I'm surprised it took me this long to actually pick it up. And that is Federico Fellini's 8½. I have actually seen this. Back in the day, 2011 kids will remember when a lot of Criterion Collection movies were on Netflix, and you could just pop on. That's how I watched The Killing for the first time. That's how I watched 8½. That's how I watched a lot of movies in the collection when I was first aware of what this was. But 8½, is one of the quintessential like art house foreign films. It is from Italy. Obviously, it's Federico Fellini. It is a pseudo-autobiographical, sort of expressionist story about a director who's in the process of making, I think, his 9th film, but he can't quite figure it out, which is why it's called 8½. And he has a wife, he has some mistresses, he has like a lot of women in his life, he has like hang-ups with his mother, and it is sort of about the creative process. And like a lot of Fellini's movies, it's just about a director who's really famous and popular and has a lot of women in his life, and it's expressionistic and all that kind of stuff. I have not seen this since I was in high school, and I don't really remember a lot about it. I remember thinking it was very different than I was expecting, but finding it rewarding, even though I was kind of perplexed by it. But I do remember the opening scene quite vividly. So that's 8½, spy number 140.
Interesting. Yeah, I have not taken the plunge into his movies yet, because I know there's a lot there, but I will someday. There's just so much to watch. All right, my final Charlie Chaplin film. It's got a beautiful cover. It's The Gold Rush. This was actually one of the ones I watched this month, because it is absolutely an adventure movie. If you don't think of this as Charlie Chaplin as adventure movies, this is absolutely qualifies, because I watched this in November as we were watching through a bunch of adventure movies, and this is about. It's kind of a romance, but that's kind of in the background. It's mostly him just going to this town because it's a gold rush, and he's like trying to find gold. The first half is like just in the snow, in this like cabin that he just kind of wanders into, and the guy like tries to kick him out, and there's just all this craziness. There's like a bear. There's like all these fight scenes. It actually gets kind of violent. I had to like turn my son away for a little bit, because there's like this. They run into this like murderer who's like on the run from the cops, and like the cops catch him, and then he like kills both of the cops. But so yeah, the other two are very kid friendly. I probably should have waited a little longer to show this one to my son, but that's just kind of that one scene. But yeah, this is really good. I did not like this one as much as the other two, but it was still really good. I'm glad I liked it enough to buy it, and I will definitely watch it again and have it for my kids to grow up with someday. Look at that. This is an interesting cover. It's got like three segments. So usually it's just the white with whatever color they use for the Criterion spine, but there's also this one right here that says Charlie Chaplin, a film by Charlie Chaplin. Now this is one that has, so I don't know if you know this, I think you do because we talked about it, but if you guys don't know this, Charlie Chaplin actually went back, this is a silent film from 1925, really early, but he actually went back in 1942 when talkies were all the rage, and he released this with narration. So he took out all the intertitles, and then he added narration to it that he wrote. And that version actually got nominated for Oscars too. It was like, it got nominated for sound design or something, and I don't know, a couple audio visual. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it couldn't get nominated for what was shot in 1925. I think it could only get nominated for the new stuff they added, probably.
Interesting.
Because both of them were like part of the new stuff he added. But yeah, that's a totally different version. Like, so the original version, I didn't even say that. This version includes both versions. So that was really cool that they did that. It has the rest, the re-release in 1942, and then the original 1925 version. The 1925 version is 88 minutes, and the 1942 version is 72 minutes. So one of the things I thought about this was it wasn't as well paced as the other two, and apparently he thought so too, because when he re-released it, he cut off about 15 minutes of it. So only 72 minutes for the 1942 version. I have not seen that one yet, so I still need to check that out. I might like it better. I don't know. I've heard mixed things online. I've heard the narration kind of doesn't work for some people, but I've heard some people like it better. So I'll see for myself. But it is the Gold Rush.
Yeah. That's another instance of the horizon line cutting the image and using it as like a part of the design for the wraparound.
That's really cool.
One of my favorite little things that they do in the design there is that the spine number on the bottom is in a little chunk of gold on the spine.
Yes,
and I think that's cool.
The Blu-ray logo on the back is also.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah, really cool. I that's one of the coolest things about owning these is not just the movies, but just the cover art. Just checking all this out. I like how it's got the mountain thing. It makes for a really weird, if you guys are watching live or after the fact, you can see in the thumbnail I cut out all of the names of these. This was the hardest one to do because it's got a mountain range in there. So I couldn't just like paint out, I couldn't just use white, like I had to get rid of all those mountains and stuff. But it makes for a beautiful cover because it wraps all the way around. So I love this one, and I'm excited to check out the other version.
The amount of effort you put into that thumbnail is legitimately impressive, and it's so cool. My next pick. So I actually have a severe lack in education regarding documentaries.
Same.
So I'm trying to get more into documentaries, and specifically music documentaries. That's like a whole thing unto itself. And luckily, there's a lot of music documentaries in the Criterion Collection. So I went with a very early one. This is spine number 167 that also has 168 and 169. That is the complete Monterey Pop Festival.
Mm.
These are 3 documentaries, 1 feature, 2 documentary shorts directed by D.A. Pennebaker. And this is a musical festival from the 60s that features the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Otis Redding, Simon & Garfunkel, The Who, Jefferson Airplane, the Mamas and the Papas, just a ton of musical artists that played this festival. And this is so there's Monterey Pop, which is a 1968, 79-minute documentary. But there's also the 1986 documentary that is 49 minutes, which is Jimmy Plays Monterey. And then there is a 19-minute documentary called Shake, Otis at Monterey. And this includes all of them. 2 shorts share spine number 169. The box itself is just 167, and Monterey Pop, the 79-minute documentary, is spine 168. But this is some really cool, this is actually a re-release, like a remaster, because there was a complete Monterey Pop Festival that they released on Blu-ray, and then they just remastered it again, and this is that version. I like the wraparound art on this one. I think the pink spine on this side is pretty neat, as opposed to just the normal black. And yeah, they just really went all out, and like even the innards, it's like really like creative with the art, and you open it up and it's got crazy psychedelic 60s iconography. The discs are really expressive. I don't know, like this is just really neat, and this is absolutely like my era of music that I like. I'm sorry guys, I like my boomer rock, but this is kind of the more like experimental psychedelic stuff. Like I love Jimi Hendrix. I really like the Who, and who doesn't like Otis Redding, right? So yeah, I love this era of music. I'm trying to get this back into the thing. It's actually a pretty tight box. Good. There we go. But this is Monterey Pop. I want to get more into, like I said, music documentaries. And apparently D.A. Pennebaker is like the guy who made music documentaries. Sweet. So excited to have an introduction to that artist.
All right.
What's your
next one? Is another silent film comedy, but it's not Charlie Chaplin. I'm trying to get into this guy also because, like I said, I think in a previous video when we talked about Journey to the Beginning of Time. I'm trying to put together a collection for my son to grow up with because I didn't watch a lot of good classic films when I was a kid. I basically just watched crappy kids movies, and I want him to grow up with a better library. So I'm trying to collect all these, and I'm going through the Criterion Collection and getting all the ones that are appropriate for kids and families, which is not hard to do because there's not that many. But this is another filmmaker who I think, from what I've read, is appropriate for kids. It is Buster Keaton's Safety at Last. Look at that, the iconic scene. I've not seen this yet. I actually started this on the Criterion channel, and I loved the first two scenes so much. The visual gags were amazing that I just picked it up on those two scenes alone because something came up, we had to leave, and we couldn't finish it, and I never went back to it. But I just remember those two scenes sticking with me very well. So, but this, I think this is like his most iconic movie, but this release is fantastic. First of all, you got that on the front. You know how all the movies have this kind of column on the back with all the information? This one uses that as the building that he's climbing up. I don't know if you can see it, but he's climbing up this building, and that's what that whole spine is. And then the city is kind of, they lower the opacity on the rest of the city back here and just did a duotone with white and gray, and they have it faded behind the text. It looks so nice. It's really cool. Big splashy title up there with the original fonts. I love the poster. I don't know if this is this can't be original. This must be someone did this artwork where they put the title inside the clock right there. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm excited to finally check the rest of this movie out because I love the first two scenes a lot. And yeah, Buster Keaton is a filmmaker that I have not seen enough of, so I'm excited to check that one out.
Awesome. Yeah, my little brother actually bought that when he was in like middle school, because that's when I started collecting Criterions, and he wanted to get in on it, and he liked silent movies a lot, and he grabbed that, and it's one of his favorite movies. Or at least it was when he was in middle school. He's a senior in high school now. So
sorry. Thank you, Ethan Edwards. Ethan Edwards. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this with Ethan Edwards in the chat, but he just corrected me. Thank you so much. This is actually Harold Lloyd, not Buster Keaton. So thank you for catching that before I heard about it in the comments. So there you go, Harold Lloyd. Still a really cool movie.
Yeah, Harold Lloyd. He also made like The Freshman, I believe. That's another one of his big movies. Yeah, I need to get more educated on my silent comedians who did like insane stuff works, like Charlie
because
Chaplin,
you know me, like that's my
Harold
background.
Lloyd.
I really want to check out. I need to know those kind of classic era, crazy stunt guys that did all their own stuff and directed and acted. That's what I'm interested in. So yeah, I have the same exact thing I'm trying to get into is check out all these classic guys.
Well, getting back to classic guys, I got another Federico Fellini movie. This is spy number 219, and it is La Strada.
Ooh.
So I think last year or a little bit before that, Criterion put out the Essential Fellini box set, which was all of the Fellini titles in their like catalog, and they just put them all out on Blu-ray, which was really cool because a lot of them, like most of them, were out of print DVDs. And so them putting it all out in one big collection on Blu-ray was really cool. My brother got that, and because he got that, I'm collecting all of them individually. And so this is the first one from that collection that they just put out individually. And so this is now back in print. Hopefully stuff like Nights in Cabria and other movies he did that are kind of earlier spine numbers to get their own individual releases. So I can own that, and Spencer can keep his box set. But yes, this is La Strada. I don't know anything about this, but apparently a lot of people love it. It's from 1954.
Nice. Yeah, that was one I saw, because that was on DVD. That has an earlier spine number, but they just re-released it on Blu-ray. That was pretty recent, right? I've seen a lot of people picking that one up recently.
Yeah, they released at the beginning of the month, so like right in time for the sale.
All right, so this is why I had Buster Keaton in my mind. This is the next one in the silent film. This is the last one also in the silent film comedian realm. This is Buster Keaton, because it says so right there. And this is The Cameraman, which I don't know anything about, except that it is by Buster Keaton. And like Connor said, I also am trying to check out more of his stuff, and just all these guys from the 20s and the silent era. So yeah, this is Buster Keaton, The Cameraman. I don't know much about it, but I really like the black and white scheme. It's super simple, except for the back. They go kind of crazy wonky with the typography. And I'm assuming by everything about this that he's like a terrible cameraman, because he's like falling on the ground and everything. The artwork, he's like knocking everything over, and then like the cameraman text is literally knocking down all the other text. So if that means anything, I kind of know what this movie's about. So I'm excited to check that one out. Not anything I know about. It's also got a like little monkey on his shoulder, like Ross, like Marcel. So yeah, that's sure to be fun, and hopefully I can watch that one with my kids. The Cameraman, Buster Keaton.
Very cool. Yeah, I need to pick that one up. I forgot all about that. But speaking of movies that we both had talked about last time, I think regarding the July sale, I finally picked up Robinson Crusoe.
And that, man,
on Mars.
that was one of the ones in July. I was like, I almost got this one this time, but I'm definitely going to get it in November, and I still didn't. I still haven't seen it. But I wish I would have, because that's a perfect one to watch this month for adventure movies.
Yes. And first of all, I really, really like the artwork on this sort of painted artwork. I like how it wraps around. It looks a lot like comic book art by trying to remember which comic book artist. He it's gone, but it's really cool. I actually, for whatever reason, didn't think of this as like what it is. I just thought it was called Robinson Crusoe on Mars, and he doesn't actually go on Mars, but it's more of like a metaphorical thing, and it's not really about a guy named Robinson Crusoe. Yeah, but apparently this is just straight up. Well, I mean, it is about U.S. astronaut Commander Kit Draper, and he must fight for survival with a pet monkey as his only companion. But he's apparently on Mars.
Another
So
hey,
really fun
look at that! We're 2 for 2
adventure.
with pet monkey companions.
There you go. So I don't know. This sounds like this is 1964. So like 1960s retro futurist pulp sci-fi. That's my thing. Like my favorite Godzilla movie, not counting the original, is Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, because I love Planet X. I love those aliens. I love the spaceships. I love that. I love Darwin Cook is my favorite comic book artist, and that sort of Silver Age pop art sci-fi. That's what this is. Like, how could I not get this? I'm really excited to finally watch it.
Yeah, so I really want to check that one out eventually. The next movie I'm watching for my Adventure Through November series is from the Ray Harryhausen set. It's what is it again? From Earth to the Moon or something? So the next one I'm about to watch is very similar to that. So I'm excited to get into that same realm. But my next one is completely different. This is a movie that I watched a couple months ago on the channel, and I really liked it. I don't want to say much about it because I don't want to spoil it, and it's kind of a movie that I went into not knowing anything about and completely was not what I expected, so I'm glad I didn't know anything about it. But don't look at the poster on Letterboxd because it completely spoils it, and this for you, Connor. Do not look at the poster for this movie. This is La Piscine, which is the swimming pool in French. This is a French movie. And it's just like a beautiful movie. It's obviously this is not going to be like the text falling down on this one. This is just going to be classy, black and white, with the image from the movie there. But yeah, this one came out recently. I don't know if you've watched this or if you've heard about this at all. But this is the one I was talking about where it has a very ambiguous ending, and for the American release, which is also on here, and on the channel, I chose to watch the original French, and I'm glad I did because the American release, they filmed this stupid ending that's just like, this is what happened, so it's like this really awkward like 2-minute scene, because I guess, and it's not just the American, like for the other release, like any other country that showed it, they showed that version, but the French version is really cool. I actually like this ending, and I really enjoy this movie. I won't say too much about it. It's like, if you're into like, I don't know, if you're into like upscale, like fashion and style, and like just, they're in this super fancy, crazy French house, and it's 60s, yeah, it's 1969, and they have this giant pool, and if you're into like that whole scene, I think you'll like it. And then it's one of those movies where it completely changes what kind of movie it is about in the third act, and you're like, whoa, was not expecting that. So it's great. I highly recommend it.
I think I might know that movie because I think that was remade.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Into the 2016
That's right.
film by Luca Guadagnino called A Bigger Splash, which starred Ralph Fiennes, Tilda Swinton, and a couple of other people. I think Dakota Johnson was in it, and
I'm sorry you saw that, because it would have been much better if you had just seen the original before you saw that. I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe that's great.
It was an okay movie. I'm not crazy about Luca Guadagnino. I think his movies are just kind of fine, but I mean, it has some stellar performances, especially from Tilda Swinton and Ralph Fiennes, who are just completely awesome in it. But yeah, I think I know the big surprises of that movie, but I do want to check that out to see how much more I will like it.
Like I said, I don't know if you'll have as good of an experience with it since you saw that movie, but yeah, I had a great experience with it when it came out. It came to the channel like a month after it was released on Blu-ray, so that's when I watched it. It was like a couple months ago. So that is La Piscine.
Awesome. Well, I feel a little late to the party because my next pick is Charlie Chaplin.
You can tell we didn't coordinate this. Oh, see, that's not one. I haven't seen that one yet. That was one I didn't think it was okay to watch with my son.
This is, of course, The Great Dictator from the year 1940. I think the only Charlie Chaplin film to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Of course, the artwork is fun and reversible, where the text, The Great Dictator, Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator is sort of, on both sides, inverted. So this is a really just well designed. I like the sort of orangish red color of it, and when you look inside, the sort of not swastika logo kind of is the inner splash. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited to watch this because, Charlie Chaplin straight up made this when the Nazi Party had a lot of cozy buddies in the United States, and this was before we got involved in World War II. And he made a straight up satire of a pretty popular movement. And that takes some cojones. And I really want to check it out. I really want to watch more. This is famously a talkie, though, right? Like, it has a big speech at the end that's very famous. So
yeah,
probably
I'm
going to watch
interested to
it.
get into some of his talkies. Like, that's great. Like, because I'm in my head, he's such a silent film guy, but he made films for so long. Like, what's some of the other ones? They have like all of them, right? They have Limelight is also a talkie.
They have most of them. I think he made 11 movies, and they have 8 of them in the collection.
In the collection, which is really cool. Hopefully, Buster Keaton gets a little more as the time goes on. This next one, actually, real quick, I'm gonna jump to the live chat for a second. Mo in the live chat, he's been commenting a little bit. He said, or whoever this is, I'm not going to assume the gender. I appreciate the family recommendations. I think it was here that you gave the red balloon recommendation, and my 2 kids loved it. Yes. I'm so glad. This channel is totally worth it. The fact that I got someone to watch The Red Balloon, because The Red Balloon is a delightful movie. And yes, I recommended that in the July haul when I picked it up. It's up there in the whites. Yes, The Red Balloon is wonderful. I'm so glad you checked it out. That's really cool. All right, my next one. Is not a family release. But it is called, it's funny. It's really good. I watched this a couple months ago, and it's actually really appropriate now if anyone's interested, because it's kind of a Christmas time movie, and it takes place around that time. Like, the very opening scene is them getting in the car after Thanksgiving dinner and driving home. This is The Day Trippers, with such cool artwork. I know you said in July you almost bought this just based on the artwork alone. It's really cool. I love the illustration. It really illustrates this hilarious movie. This is, I'll say a little bit about it, I guess. First of all, the youngest, of course, his name's going to completely escape me right now. Who is this again?
That is
Liev Schreiber. Liev Schreiber, yes. The youngest Liev Schreiber I've ever seen. Here he is carrying the coffees back here. He's like a baby-faced Liev Schreiber. Wouldn't even recognize him as Sabretooth. he looks like a little boy. But he's hilarious in this. You got a younger Stanley Tucci in this with some little bit more hair. You've got who is the main girl in this? I cannot remember her name. Anne Miara? Or no, that's the mom. But yeah. Anyway, really quick synopsis. This is the woman. She is with Stanley Tucci. They're a couple. And she finds this letter. It's kind of like a poem that her husband wrote to somebody, so she thinks he's cheating on her. And she makes the mistake of telling her family, her entire family, who just happens to be there. I think she maybe just like tells her sister or mom or something, and then everyone comes in. And the entire movie is just one day of all of them running around the city trying to figure out if he's cheating on her. And it's really funny. It's a really good comedy. And I won't spoil anything, obviously, but I highly recommend The Day Trippers, especially for Christmas time. It's 1996. It's really low key. It's just kind of, there's no like big crazy shenanigans are going on, but it's just a nice family movie. It reminded me of my family. So like just the moments where they're sitting in the car, like arguing with each other or like running down the street. Like it's a really good, if you have a sibling or if you have parents, which is everyone, definitely check out unless you have like a perfect family unit that doesn't argue, then you won't relate to this, but I think everyone else will relate to this movie. I highly recommend it. The Day Trippers. I'm probably going to watch it again, maybe in December, coming up.
Well, awesome. I completely missed that one, but that's why we have another sale in July. My next pick is one that I kind of picked up on your recommendation, DJ, and I watched it the day I bought it. It is the 1932 film Island of Lost Souls.
Oh, that's so cool.
This is, of course, based on Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. This is the first film adaptation, I think. This is sound era, like early sound era, 1932. This has been retroactively lumped into the Universal Monster franchise because Universal picked up the distribution sometime, I believe, in the 50s or 70s. This is actually a Paramount feature, even though it's now distributed by Universal. So this is actually very similar in production style to those earlier Universal movies like Frankenstein or Dracula. There's not a lot of music, very minimal on the sound design, but it's really good. I like this movie quite a bit. I think I rated it 3 stars on Letterboxd. I should change that to 3.5 because Charles Laughton as Dr. Moreau friggin' owns this movie. He is so good as Dr. Moreau. He is sinister and cunning and charismatic and frightening. There's a scene that is all over the inner splash of this. The what is the law scene, yes, where he's talking to Bela Lugosi. When he's talking with Bela Lugosi, it is just this awesome, cool, kind of chilling that highlights the society that has started to sprout on this island. Like all of these movies, the main character is kind of boring, but the villain is awesome, and it's got some other really neat stuff about it. And the final like 10 minutes of this movie is business. It's so cool. Really liked it though. Thank you for the recommendation, DJ. You were right. This is less of an adventure movie than something like Creature from the Black Lagoon, but it is more Creature from the Black Lagoon than something like Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, that one is genuinely horrifying. Like I feel like you have to go into the other Universal Studios movies being like, okay, let me get in the right mindset. That one, I mean, I know, I don't know, the fact that the like animal prosthetics on them isn't that great and isn't perfect makes it even creepier. Like the hair that's like hanging off their faces, it's so creepy.
Well, and I watched this in like one day. I watched this, and I watched a movie that came out 3 years later, Mutiny on the Bounty. Both of them star Charles Laughton. This dude might be one of my favorite actors. He is so good. He's also in Spartacus. That's kind of more when he was slumming it, and he finally got another chance to star in like something like Spartacus. And he's easily the best thing in Spartacus. And of course, he is the director of Night of the Hunter, which he didn't act in, but he wrote and directed that. I really want to watch. Like, I think I've been sleeping on Charles Laughton. This guy's awesome.
That's awesome. All right, my next one. Going along with, well, these next two are my last two singles, and then I'm going to get into my digipacks and box sets, so yay. But these are my last two, and these were both blind buys on the last day that I went to the store that I don't know much about these, but I know a little bit about them. This is kind of going right after the Day Trippers. This is Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. I actually don't know how much of a Christmas movie it is, but it has Christmas in the title, and it's got this lovely green spine, which I love because I don't have any other ones that are green like that. But this is David Bowie. Am I right about that? Unless there's a different guy named David Bowie. It says right here on the back. In this captivating, skewed World War II drama from I'm gonna butcher this, Nagisa Oshima, David Bowie regally embodies Sellers, a British officer interned by the Japanese as a POW. So yeah, David Bowie. Like in what is this? This is pretty early, or I guess 1983. So yeah. I'm not a huge war movie guy, but I'm a huge Christmas guy. And you said a war movie at Christmas, and you got me. So I actually saw this. First time I saw this was on Hulu, like last year. And I added it to my list, and I meant to watch it like around Christmas time, but I never did. So now I have no excuse because it's right here, because I don't think it's on Hulu anymore. But I do have it here, and I'm going to check it out next month in December when I go through like my Christmas watch list of things that I need to get to. So yeah. Don't know much about it, but I love like I said, the pop of green. And this is even kind of like just green tones on the front. So it's really cool. That was a total blind buy that I know not much about, but I'm excited to check it out.
I almost blind bought that too. I saw the spine.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, the spine intrigues me. And David Bowie, and I read the back, and I'm like,
yeah, it's so nice looking.
Maybe next time.
And I love the text on the front, how they used his back as like a cutout to put the cover on. So yeah, I really I don't know if I can recommend it, but I recommend the box art if nothing else.
Depending what your thoughts on that are, I'll probably buy that in July.
Yeah, Christmas
no
in July.
So my next pick is actually another one I've already seen. I picked it up having not seen it, and then I watched it because I do a podcast with a buddy of mine on his channel where we talk about movies and TV shows featuring alumni from the television show Twin Peaks. And we talked about a 2004 remake called The Manchurian Candidate. And wouldn't you know it, the original 1962 The Manchurian Candidate is in the Criterion Collection. This is from filmmaker John Frankenheimer, who has a pretty interesting career. He has a couple of films in the collection. He also made like The French Connection Part 2 and several other movies throughout the 60s and 70s, and quite a long... he actually is credited as the director of the remake of The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is like a legendary disaster. But The Manchurian Candidate is really, really good. This is like a conspiracy thriller, kind of during the Cold War era. This was made in '62, but it takes place during the Korean War of the '50s, and it stars Frank Sinatra, and it also has this guy named Lawrence Harvey. You will not find an actor who looks more like Jason Isaacs than Lawrence Harvey. Sleeper agent who Lawrence Harvey is the sleeper agent who cannot remember what happened in Korea, and neither can anyone in his battalion. And another one of his fellow troops was Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra is working with the FBI to try to figure out what happened, and they realize he's a sleeper agent. And how far this conspiracy goes is pretty cool. It's a fun kind of Red Scare thing that's also, indicting American politics, in terms of how easy it is to infiltrate and control narratives about stuff. It's a really good thriller, and there's some really, really well-directed scenes. It's got a really good sense of hysteria. Janet Leigh from Psycho is in this.
Oh, wow.
Easily the worst character in the movie. She's horribly written. What a thankless role she was given. It genuinely feels like Frank Sinatra was like, I want to have scenes with Janet Leigh because she's hot. Give me scenes with her. And they said, okay, Frankie. But Angela Lansbury is in this movie as Lawrence Harvey's mother, and she is Academy Award for this movie, or was at least nominated. She's awesome.
Awesome.
So Manchurian Candidate, highly recommend this movie. It's kind of a classic, but I feel like it's not really a cult classic, but it kind of is a second tier classic. But I would absolutely recommend this. It reminded me actually quite a bit of The Killing, which is one of my favorite movies, the Stanley Kubrick film.
Still trying to get me to watch that. Not that I'm resisting, I just don't have access to it. This next one is in a it's so Criterion Channel, like I've said before, has these collections that they put together based on themes, and there's a fairy tale theme called Happily Ever After. And this is in there, I noticed, with other things like Donkey Skin and Beauty and the Beast. This is Black Moon. Do you know anything about this?
I've seen the cover around. It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. At first glance, you just think it's a woman, but it's got unicorns on the side and other faces and skulls coming out there. It's a really awesome design. But I don't know much about this other than it's a little bit fairy tale-y because it's in that collection, and it also says here on the back, Lewis Malley meets Lewis Carroll in this bizarre and bewitching trip down the rabbit hole. So hey, if you base a story structure about Alice in Wonderland, I'm sold. That's one of my favorite classic books. So yeah, I'm excited to check this out. I don't know. It's from 1975, and I think it's an Asian film, right? Man, I love these backs, but they're really hard to find quick information when you're trying to do this. We've already struggled trying to find the lead actors, but even the director's kind of. I guess it is Lewis. Well, I guess not, because it is Lewis Mal. So maybe it's I don't know much about that director, but I know it is a foreign film, I think. So that's all I know about it. I'm excited to check this one out because I love kind of fairy tale-esque things, and it looks. I mean, based on this cover, I'm assuming it's kind of a darker, kind of an ominous movie, based on that. So I'm excited. That is Black Moon.
Yeah, I usually look over here because usually if it's a foreign movie, it'll say what language it is in with English subtitles. So
yeah,
sometimes that.
So it doesn't say that. So maybe it is in English.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, my next movie is another blind buy that has maybe some fantastical elements. I don't know, but it is from director Jacques Tourneur, and it is Cat People.
Ooh. I almost watched that this October.
First of all, Aces cover art. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. This is from 1942. This is a Warner Brothers movie. Only 73 minutes. So
nice.
I'm watching this next October. This will definitely be filling up one of those evenings where I, maybe worked all day and want to have something kind of shorter to watch. But this is a classic. A lot of people love this movie, and I was honestly kind of surprised that it was in the collection. I thought it was kind of more of a B movie classic, but I know a lot of people love it, and I'm glad it's here. My brother has been asking me to nab this for a couple of years now, and I finally did. Cat People.
Cool. So, as he always is, Ethan is saving me in the live chat. He says he's actually a French director, which means I was saying his name completely wrong. It's not Louis. But yeah, that's great. That's good news, actually, because I've been watching a lot of French movies lately, and I really love the style. So that makes me even more excited to check that out. But my next one is my first digipack. Well, not my first. Yeah, Silence of the Lambs is a digipack, but this is my first digipack that I bought. Based completely on like the little bit I know about this movie, and then Connor recommending it, and just the visuals. This is Tree of Life. Really hoping I like this. I know this could go either way, but I don't know. I think I'll like it. I haven't seen any Terrence Malick movies. This is gonna be my first one. Is this a good first one to watch?
Have.
I have.
You have seen.
What have I seen?
Badlands was his first movie.
Oh no! Uh-oh. Okay. Well, this definitely could go either way because, like I said, I was not a huge fan of Badlands. It was a kind of middle of the road mixed bag for me. But yeah, this is Tree of Life. I saw a little bit of this movie. I think I actually had a class, one of my visual effects classes in college. We were studying. I think it was it was either my title sequences day where we were like looking at a bunch of title sequences, or it was just a visual effects class where I was looking at the visual effects in this movie. But that was how it got on my radar originally, and so I knew it was a beautiful movie. But I'm excited to finally get it and see what the story is. It's a nice digipack, slides out. Let me switch to my screen so you can actually see the whole thing. It's beautiful. And then this has got the feet on the back. All this will make more sense if you've seen the movie, obviously. 2 discs. I'm guessing that's like a fetus or like the inside of a eyeball. but yeah, it's got this nice book. I'm not a huge fan of these books, you know. I like when they're actually have like a spine and they're like a full book. I guess this one's actually pretty thick, so I don't know why it's not like that. Usually when they're just stapled like this, it's because it's a thinner book, but this one's actually really thick, with a lot of photos from the movie and essays, of course, like Criterion always does. That's actually pretty thick for essays, but it is a digipack, so they got to fill it out. And yeah, I'm excited to check this out. I was interested in his other film, A New World, or The New World. I don't know which one it is, whatever article adjective it is. But I figured I would check this one out first, then if I like it, get New World, because that one also has a really cool digipack. I love me some Colin Farrell. But yeah, I'm going to get this in while Connor's going to his next one because I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes trying to get this back in. So what's your next one, Connor?
So I love The Tree of Life, and my first exposure to Terrence Malick was his 2015 film Knight of Cups, which is, I think, more stylistically similar to Tree of Life than something like Badlands. I think Badlands is maybe his most straightforward movie. But I really did not like Knight of Cups, and like I admired what it was trying to do, but it had like literally no script. They just went out and shot a bunch of stuff, and then tried finding the story and what they shot, and so it just kind of feels like a bunch of like where actors whisper in voiceover monologue. But Tree of Life actually was a script and like an idea that Terrence Malick had for many, many years, and it was one of those like things you thought would never actually get made. But I do love Tree of Life. I have a personal connection to that I don't think like I can't expect other people to have. Like the day my grandpa died, I was like just really in a contemplative mood, and I was like, I think it's time to just watch The Tree of Life. It's less an overwhelming emotional experience and more of like this meditative look at life, and it really meant a lot to me. And it wasn't bringing me to tears or anything, but it like strengthened my resolve and like my understanding about like my place in my family and like my place in the world. And it's really, awesome. I think, quite.
Well, I'm excited to check it out, and it actually does say right there, written and directed by Terrence Malick. So yeah, this is definitely his idea through and through. So yeah, I guess this will be my test if I can continue on my Terrence Malick journey, because this is kind of like I don't know if this is the quintessential Terrence Malick movie, but it's definitely one that I see thrown around with his name a lot. Also, his documentary is also a huge one that's in the collection that I kind of want to check out. Isn't The Thin Blue Line like a true crime documentary that he did?
No. So He made a
Okay.
called
Whew.
The Thin Red Line.
I'm getting things completely mixed up then. But I am interested in that documentary. So I guess that's not Terrence Malick. But
yeah.
like I said, I've
so
only
my
seen
next pick,
The Badlands. What's your next one?
My next pick, keeping it kind of with like a monsterish movie, kind of B-movie fun stuff like I had with Cat People and Robinson Crusoe on Mars and Island of Lost Souls.
Yeah.
It is a very recent edition. Spy number 1100, The Incredible Shrinking Man.
I actually don't know why I didn't get that one this month. That's right up my alley.
First of all, awesome cover art. I like how he is sort of the eyes in Incredible and Shrinking, and he's like a little exclamation point at the end of the man. I don't know anything about this movie except if you we have a mutual friend, Captain Logan, who runs Geekvolution, and every once in a while he has a guy named Kareem who talks comic books with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Kareem actually said he loved this movie, and that was like the day this came out on Blu-ray, and I went, I guess I'm getting the Incredible Shrinking Man because I don't know. I trust Kareem.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, I have a feeling it's like, because I watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers this October. You watched The Blob, like all those kind of 50s sci-fi. I'm assuming those are both kind of more horror-based, so that's a little different. But I think it's going to be that same kind of vibe. And I was interested in getting that one when I saw that they were announcing that for this month, and I just didn't for some reason. I don't know. I'll have to wait till you let me know what you think of it and see if I'll like it, because that was definitely one I was looking at. All right. My next one is another one of those ones that you were like, oh, this is one of the first 5 you get when you get into the Criterion Collection. And I haven't seen this yet, I know, which is a crime for most people. All of the people watching live are going to leave after I say that, but it's Seven Samurai. I mean, you have to own this if you have any Criterions, I'm told. This is actually one also that I saw at a Half Price Books for super cheap, and I just didn't bite the bullet because I wasn't collecting these yet and I hadn't seen it. But it was also a little bit beat up, so I'm glad I waited, because getting this beautiful box set, this beautiful digibook for only $25 is crazy. It's an ultra thick one. I actually haven't opened it yet, so I don't know what's inside here. Do you have this one? I'm sure you do. It's number 2. It's number 2 in the collection. It's like it's right so early. There. Okay, so is this like how many discs is this? Is this just like a really big booklet in here?
Yeah, I think it has a bonus disc that just has a bunch of bonus features on it, but a giant.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
it does have a big book.
Yeah, it says 2-disc Blu-ray special edition features. Yeah, and there's a lot of features. Obviously, this is a big one that I need to finally check off my list. So that is, I've seen everything else after this that like does it. I've seen Magnificent Seven. I've seen all the comedy versions that do this story. So I finally need to go back and see the original. So I'm excited to do that. Seven Samurai.
I was planning on watching that this month. It's 3.5 hours. I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Oh yeah, that was in your adventure, because that was the one where I was like, oh, I didn't think of that as an adventure movie, but I guess it totally is.
Yeah. I don't know if it is or not. I'm kind of rolling the dice there.
Adventure war drama, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, let me know what you think of it if you can get it in. If not, maybe we'll have to do like a month next year where we jump into Japanese cinema, because I know that's a blind spot for both of us.
Yeah, and I mean, just like world cinema in general is a just giant blind spot. Like, the most foreign, like the foreign language market that I've watched the most from is Japan, but I still mostly just watched like Godzilla movies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Stephen Murphy in the chat. That's what I was referring to when I said the comedy versions. He says Three Amigos and A Bug's Life and the like. Yes, Three Amigos, Bug's Life, even Galaxy Quest is the same story. But yeah, that's I need to see the original, so I'm finally going to do that. Hopefully next year.
And I mean, Zack Snyder's next movie is called Rebel Moon, which is just a science fiction version of Seven Samurai. So gotta prepare for the next Zack Snyder movie. Well, DJ, this month was a momentous occasion.
Oh.
Because Criterion entered the landscape of 4K. Finally.
You're so excited about this.
And so I had to upgrade one of my movies in my collection. You know what I'm talking about. It is Uncut Gems.
Is that really the spine number before? Okay, I see what you did.
It's so this was number 1100. This was number 1101. This was supposed to come out in October, and then it got delayed because they said we're actually wanting to do a 4K version of this. So first of all, it looks so cool.
I've seen pictures of this one online. It's amazing. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't understand what this is a reference to, but it's amazing.
It's a blinged out Furby. Hello. Oh, and I love the sort of like reflective surface of it that looks all, the reflective and crystally. It's such a cool effect. But really, the booklet on this is so awesome. First of all, look at that. You couldn't even tell this is for a booklet for Uncut Gems, but it is so glossy and like the cardstock quality is so nice on like all of the pages, and they actually make it look like it's Howie, the Adam Sandler character's like company for jewels, where it's like this is their clientele, so they have a bunch of funny photoshopped images with him with like Lil Wayne, Gene Simmons, Hulk Hogan, and then promotional images of his jewel shop.
That's awesome.
Just really top notch, and like an order form somewhere in the middle there. But there it does have stills from the movie and an essay. And then also this like cool kind of roundtable discussion talking about what it's like to be Jewish in New York, because kind of Judaism is sort of this central cultural reliance that the Howard character kind of relies on to keep people giving him money because he's sort of in their family. But I mean, just look at that. So much effort went into this. I have seen this movie before, and this movie is one of the most stressful things you will ever watch.
Yeah, see, so that's the thing. So like I said before, my wife loves true crime, or I don't know if that's true or not, but at least it's crime, and she would love that, but she also has major anxiety, and I think that movie might give her a heart attack.
I don't even have anxiety. I thought I was going to have a heart attack in the theater. Let me tell you about how that happened. First of all, my buddy Jackson Rasco, who I think you've met a couple of times.
Yeah.
He came up to Portland, and we were hanging out at the beginning of 2020 because after we were going to leave from Portland and go to New York because we were going to go see Sing Street off Broadway, and it was like I finally got vacation time from my work, and I still had stuff to do, but I was like, I'm going to leave work early. I'm going to go see this movie with my brother and my friend, and then we're going to go check him out. I'll just do some last minute packing, and then I'll get on the plane, and then I'll leave. And then I realized while the movie's starting, it's going to end an hour later than I had initially thought. And
it's a long movie.
I still need to his hotel and check him out, and I need to drive us, and then having that weighing on your shoulder while you're watching this, it takes place in New York, and I'm gonna be going to New York. Seriously, I had a hard time focusing on half this movie because I was sweating bullets thinking about all the stuff I needed to do. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack or something. Super stressful movie, but really, really good. Also, it should be said that the 4K looks incredible. I popped this in to give it a look. I thought the size of my TV must have increased. It looks incredible. And the high dynamic range, the sound and mixing of this movie should have been nominated for an Oscar. It's great sound design, so it sounds good. It looks amazing. Very, very satisfied with this purchase. If you can, and you're up for this kind of movie, because it's a heart attack, but definitely seek out Uncut Gems. This is a great addition.
Awesome. Yeah, I have not seen that yet, so if I ever do check it out, I'll definitely get the Criterion version now that exists. But all right, we are down to the wire. These are my last 3 box sets, and they're the biggest ones. This one is Beautiful. I'm so glad I got this. This actually could have been in the segment earlier where I was talking about movies I watched in October, because this is Vampire. Look at that. Oh man, I know you already have this, Connor, so let me enjoy this for a minute. This box set is beautiful. It's one of the extra thick ones, like Seven Samurai, because it not only has the film with different art, that creepy guy. Ugh. Remember that guy? You watch?
Yeah.
You watched that in October too. So I'll put that to the side. This is actually the movie. Look at this. This awesome, creepy, like cadaver teeth skull thing. It opens up. It's got this beautiful, like, pattern from this time period, and like I love when they do the C on the disc like that. But this one's got like a tree growing over the C, which is really cool. And it also has this booklet here, which is in the movie, which is where all the essays are and all the images like they always do. But then, on top of that, it comes with this. So apparently, the screenplay for this is based on a story, or like a book, a shorter book. And this is actually the screenplay and that book, if I'm not mistaken. Which is really cool. And I think next time, or maybe not next year, but in a year in the future, when I go back and watch this again, I might try to read this in October sometime, because I really liked the mood of this piece, but I would really like to know what the original story was and how different they are, because I love doing those kind of comparisons. But yeah, so it has the screenplay, and then by the author there, and then it has the actual original story, which is called Carmilla, and then by that author. So yeah, I love this. I wish they would do this more. I don't know of any other Criterions where they have the entire source material included, but that's super cool.
I can think of one other. It's a Western called The Furies. Okay. Does the same thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. So those like fit right in the box, right next to each other. I'll probably display it like this on the shelf, but I mean, that looks so nice. That's so cool. I love how they made the book even have kind of like the matching spine thing, and instead of a spine number, it's like a little two sickles with the skull. It's really cool. I love the set. I love this. I like this movie more than you did, Connor, so that's what made me pick this up. But even I mean, you don't even the amount that you like this movie, I think you still would have picked this up just because it's such a nice set.
Oh, absolutely. I want to watch it again. That's Carl Theodor Dreyer. He did a lot of great films from the silent era, and important filmmaker. Yeah. It's a really cool set. All right, I got two more. They're both 4Ks. They're both new. So, one of the great films in all of American cinema, a directorial debut that is widely celebrated for its cultural relevance and importance. I'm, of course, talking about Menace to Society.
That's an awesome set.
This is directed by... Dude. So, this is directed by the Hughes brothers. Alan and Albert Hughes are identical twin brothers that made a big splash in a big way in 1993 with Menace to Society. This was kind of during the boom of, urban cinema that was like stuff like Boys in the Hood. And then this came along and kind of revolutionized the game and was a really big hit, and I think is maybe responsible for propelling what audiences would accept from inner city, urban, primarily black entertainment. And this was a big deal. I've never watched it before, but I hear great things about it, and at least just for the historical importance, this is just like a subject that really interests me. Like, I don't know, like post Spike Lee, how like the big surge of like black filmmakers in America, and like how that culture was finally able to like represent themselves in a way that they hadn't before. I find that really inspiring. But also this set is awesome because, I mean, look at that. Oh, and it's got all these like bullet holes in there. And the two, it's like a cutout. The two is a cutout. And then I really like the artwork that they do here. It's, kind of, what do you call that? Deep fried or whatever. I don't know what the term is. But then also, first of all, the inverted colors on the discs where like the 4K, the C is red, and the rest of the disc is black, but then the C is red and is black, and the rest of the disc is red on the Blu-ray. But then also the booklet is, I like the way you unfold it. It goes like that, and then that, and
then nice. Wow.
That. So that's the essay, and it's really cool because it's not like one big image on the back. It's just, you have one image here, and then two images here for the booklet. Really impressive. I have not had a chance to really sample this 4K set yet, but I will. And apparently it's a really cool movie. Want to check it out, and just like the effort they put into the packaging is dynamite.
Yeah, that's really cool. I saw some people showing that off in the Criterion Facebook group. One guy, the 2 was ripped when he got it shipped to him from Criterion, which that broke my heart. But speaking of beautiful box sets, saved the best ones for last year. This is amazing, and Connor already knows what it is. Look at that, the Before trilogy. I could just talk about this one by itself. So the front is beautiful, obviously. I love that it's like this and Vampire both have this. It's like it's more matte textured. It's not glossy. It's kind of hard to explain unless you're seeing it in person, but it's a real rough, kind of beautiful texture. And then all 3 of the movies are in there. Before Sunrise being the bigger one, obviously, because that's the first one, which is kind of a complaint I have. I don't know why they had to make. I wish they had, based on what my next one's going to be, I wish it's bigger because there's a booklet in here. I wish they had just had 1, 2, 3 and then the booklet, like this other box set I'm about to show does. But it's still super nice. I can't complain too much. So this one I've actually watched. This is the first one. We watched this a couple weeks ago. I watched it with my wife. Beautiful movie. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to get to the other 2. I'm so glad that you brought this up. You're the only one that even got this on my radar. I hadn't even really heard about these movies. So Connor brought these to me and recommended them. This is the first one with the yellow spine, and then Before Sunset, the orange spine, and then Before Midnight with the blue spine. Beautiful, super nice. The only thing I wish is that I was able to see this in a vacuum before I knew that there were more movies, because the ending, I won't say anything, but like I think it would have been hit a little bit better if I didn't know that there was more movies after it. But besides that, it was a great movie. I highly recommend it. And the set is beautiful. This is a total blind buy. Like I said, I kind of had some recommendations of Connor and another friend that I know that really liked these movies as well. And that was kind of what pushed me over the edge when I was at the store to pick this up, because it was only $50, or this is originally $100, I think, and I got it for $50. I was looking for like I said, all these things, and my wife was like, if you see anything romantic, try to pick that up. And I was like, perfect. Well, what could be more perfect than this box set? 3 movies for about the price of 2, I guess. $50 is a great price for this set. So definitely check that one out. Can't recommend that enough. Well, I don't know. I have only seen one of the 3 movies, so I guess it's a lukewarm recommendation if you're gonna get the whole box set. But you have to get. This is the only way they released them, right? There's not like individuals. Yeah. So yeah, in order to get Before Sunrise from Criterion, you have to get this set. So, and it's worth it. I mean, look at it. It's so beautiful.
I mean, I love Richard Linklater. I love those movies. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the others.
I know. I mean, just look at these. I mean, just this month I got these. Look at all these digipacks. They look so good together. Tree of Life is a little different, but especially those 3. They look great. I'm so excited to get these on the shelf. I might run out of room on the shelf behind me because it's pretty much full. I might have to remove some of my kids' books off the bottom shelf and start putting movies down there too. Because of Criterion and Connor ruining my wallet, my bank account, and my life. So thank you, Connor.
Sorry, buddy. Apologies. All right. So lastly, this is a fun story. Citizen Kane, obviously, American.
Oh, you're not going to keep teasing it like you've been doing the last.
I'm just saying, like, Citizen Kane, big deal. A lot of people like that movie. It's number 1 on the AFI Top 100, widely regarded as greatest movie that's ever been made. And
I'm familiar.
When they released it was coming out, and all of a sudden they did a recall, and all of the Barnes and Nobles were apparently ordered to just send their 4K copies of Citizen Kane back, because while there's a 4K disc in it, there are 3 Blu-rays, and that first Blu-ray apparently was a defective disc. The high dynamic range on the disc just kind of goes out the window and just becomes this ugly, like, gray, blurry mess somewhere in the middle of it. And so when I went to Barnes & Noble, like, I made sure that it was reserved, and Michael, the guy who is, like, the guy there who is in charge of getting everything in there, really, really cool English gentleman, he said none of the Portland stores in the area got Citizen Kane. Except for ours, baby. And he said he made sure I was going to get this.
So you still got it. So I guess I'll have to talk to you about it. I don't know what you're going to do.
Well, here's the thing. I got this because it's Citizen Kane. Look, I know the idea is that you're not supposed to like Citizen Kane. It's just like this great movie that you're supposed to study and academically like and understand why it's important. I don't subscribe to that notion. This movie rules. This movie is awesome. I love this movie. It's great. It is. Yes, it's the best movie ever. Get over it. Deal with it. It's awesome.
I'm sorry, guys. He's very passionate about this.
I love this movie. It's in Criterion, and it came to 4K for its 80th anniversary. It's great. And guess what? This is the same 4K master that they did for the 70th anniversary Ultimate Collector's Edition. But guess what? I already own that. So if I need to, like, get the Blu-ray, I'm not going to dig out the defective release on this. No, I'm just going to go grab that one if I need to watch it on Blu-ray. But why would I need to watch it on Blu-ray when I got the 4K? I got a 4K player and I got a 4K TV. Come on. But let's be real here, guys.
All right, so he's keeping it. He's not sending it back. He's not doing the program.
And honestly, I mean, it's like a fun little keepsake to have, right? Where it's like, hey, here's a fun little piece of history.
Yeah, Criterion does not want you to have that. They want everyone to destroy them, and so they can send them quality discs because they don't want it to be known that they screwed up.
What I'm saying is this will be worth something someday.
Yeah, because he's never gonna sell any of these.
So this is the packaging is awesome on this, by the way. It's a little, as the kids would say, extra, and maybe I'll get into it. There's like a little detail that's a little less than optimal, but still, it's cool.
Yeah,
so
about that.
You slide it off. This is like one of the only things I can think of that do this. But K A N N E.
That's crazy. Oh, that.
And then of course you got the book.
That opens up like the Guillermo del Toro trilogy, which I
Does it
really want, but I don't have, and it's way out of print and very expensive.
But first of all, that's pretty cool. On the back, of course, is the little rosebud, which
spoiler alert
is it's a little rosebud. What do you want me to say? It's in the first scene of the movie,
of course,
which is pretty cool because that's on the back of the Ultimate Collector's Edition.
Nice.
But this is all in black and white because that's what the movie's in. The problem is this is the 4K disc right here, the disc 1. You can't really get it out because you try sliding it out and you kind of run into this little area here, which in the light you can see there's a little divot that makes it a little hard. So you kind of have to bend it back a little bit to slide it out. And because of the way this is all arranged, you can, because this is the first disc, you think, oh, I just have to open it up like this and pull it out. You can't really do that because there's so much stuff right here. So you kind of have to open it up all the way. You got to spell the name and then pull it out. So maybe not like the most functional design, but regardless, I don't care. I got my Citizen Kane in 4K in Criterion, and you know what? I'm okay with that. And this booklet comes with one gigantic essay called "The Once and Future Kane," and Yeah, like it starts here and it just goes and goes and goes. And I'm really excited to finally read that. Um, there's the two commentaries, one by Peter Bogdanovich, one by Roger Ebert. Those are like, classic commentaries. They recorded it. They pulled out all the stops for new bonus features. I'm really impressed with this release. I'm just so happy. This one I got. So that's it. That's the last one I got. Citizen Kane, baby, on 4K.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even. How long are you going to be able to go before you have to watch that new commentary? Probably not very long. Probably going to check it out pretty soon.
No.
All right, so
Yes.
this is also my last one. My number 23, but this is actually 6 films. This was one that I saw after the July sale. I became aware of this director like a little bit after that in the later summer. And I was always thinking about getting this box set, but I didn't see it anywhere, and I didn't want to pick it up off Criterion or Amazon, especially not Amazon, because Amazon will just throw it in an envelope and ship it to me, and it'll be all damaged. And this is a very fragile box set, so I wasn't going to pick it up unless I found it at a store. And the third store I went to my normal Barnes & Noble, and I got a few of those. My second Barnes & Noble trip was when I went with my friend. That was a little bit further away. That was like 20 minutes away. And that was where I got a lot of this stuff in the Before trilogy and stuff. The third Barnes & Noble I went to was just like 25 minutes away, like downtown, past the city, past Atlanta. They had a crazy stock. I didn't even mention this, but like some of these, like this Black Moon is from 2011. It was sitting in that store since 2011. That's when they put the Barnes & Noble sticker on it. And it has the date right there. They had such a huge stock, and they had all the box sets up by the front counter. Apparently no one in Atlanta buys Criterions because these are still sitting there. But I had to pick up the Jacques Demy box set. Look at this thing. Oh man, it's beautiful. Look at that. All 6 movies right there on the side. Each has their own color. The box set design itself is beautiful. These colors are like repeated throughout, and you'll see like patterns and like symbols repeated for each movie. Each one has its own design. It's super cool. I'm just going to go ahead and show them to you. This is Jacques Demy. The only film I've seen of this director as of now is, let's slide all these out. Put the box over there. The only one I've seen as of this moment, and I've talked about when we did our Beauty and the Beast discussion, is Donkey Skin, which is a love letter to Beauty and the Beast. Even has the main actor from that, obviously. So yeah, there it is. 2 discs. One is a DVD, one is a Blu-ray. So that's nice. And then the Donkey Skin has kind of like these green diamond shapes that go through all across the back. And then you've got that nice green spine. So I guess I do have another green spine, like Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, but this is in a box set, so you don't always see it on the shelf. But yeah, that's Donkey Skin. Great movie. Highly recommend it, especially if you're into like kind of fairy tale stuff. That's actually the 5th movie in this collection. The first one is Lola, which is this nice blue-purple, which I haven't seen yet. It's got these kind of 60s star pattern going through here. This is 1961. I'm excited to check that out. The second one is Bay of Angels, which has these red and black diamonds going through the whole thing. Across the back, Blu-ray DVD, same thing. Really nice. Third one is The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is considered a Christmas movie by a lot of people. It's in the Criterion channel theme. There's a theme on there, a collection of movies called Blue Christmas, which I'm going to check out next month, and this is in there. So this is going to be the next one I watch from this director. I hope it's great. You've got the kind of raindrops pattern coming down there, and this is the nice pink one. I think this is a musical. I think this director does a lot of musicals. I think a couple of these are musicals. Donkey Skin's a musical. And this is the other musical, The Young Girls of Rochefort, which got the red circles going through. Blu-ray DVD. It's got the yellow. And then the last one, the 6th one after Donkey Skin, is called Un Chambre en Ville. This is the only one that has a French title. I'm not sure why that is, but it's got like the long red lines. This one's actually got 3 discs, which is a DVD, a Blu-ray, and then this is The World of Jacques Demy and the Young Girls Turn 25, which is, I guess, just a disc that's for like the whole set that has a couple documentaries on that disc. So that's cool. That's why this one's a little thicker. That's the black one. But yeah, this is so cool. I'm going to put this right up there. It's going to go right up there by my Casablanca box set. Super cool. So excited to get that. It even has this beautiful booklet. This is what I was talking about earlier. I like the ones that actually have like a thicker spine on the booklet instead of just the staples. But it continues that design pattern all the way through this. And this is a thick booklet. How many pages is this? It's like 60 pages. 69.
Wow.
Huge booklet.
Nice.
Huge pop of purple and all these colors. There's such attention to detail on this. That's the spine, which looks great. Has the Criterion C across there. And even the inside of the box is designed with all of those different symbols for each movie. Like, spare no expense. This box set is incredible. And I'm excited to dive into all these movies because I like this director. I liked the first movie I saw from him, and I liked all the behind the scenes that I watched for that movie where he was talking about his filmmaking process and stuff. So yeah, super pumped that I finally got this. It's $124. It's one of those box sets that is at the $124 price range. So for the 50% off sale, you get it for $62, which I think is a heck of a deal to get 6 movies for $60 in Criterion. It's awesome. I'm so excited that I finally got that. And that's why I saved it for last. And hopefully there's anyone still watching because we have gone for over 2 hours. I think this might even top our July video, which I was not expecting to. Ethan says Umbrellas is his best film. So sweet. Well, I'm going to check that out in a few days once I start my Christmas watch through of all these Christmas movies that I haven't seen yet. So that's exciting. And thanks for popping in, Ethan. You've been most helpful with your corrections here and there and your insights. And everyone else who's been watching along in the live chat, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with us as we babbled on to no end with all of these. We're just it's not even bragging. It's just gushing that we're just so excited that we own these. And I'm excited to get to the next ones that I haven't seen yet because that's the most exciting part.
I wanted to say Mo in the chat says that the first, if you're looking at my 4Ks, I own 3 of the 4 4Ks that Criterion has. The first one was Mulholland Drive, which I already own on Blu-ray, and my brother wanted to get the 4K, and he just hasn't gotten around to it yet. But I'm dying to see how that looks because Mulholland Drive is excellent. And also, Nathan here and there, he's in the chat. How you doing, Nathan? Good to see your name pop up.
Cool. Yeah, there's been a lot of great guys. John Henry, Stephen Murphy, like I said, Ethan Edwards. You said Nathan Snyder. Spook Kid is very mad at me for not having seen Umbrellas of Cherbourg. So he says watch it ASAP. I will. That is literally the next movie I'm watching after I get through my adventure movies for Adventure Through November. That is right on the top of the list. So don't worry. I will. I'll watch it, and then I'm gonna make Connor watch some movies from this director because he's really cool. But thank you so much for joining me.
I really ought to.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks again so much for having me. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I should probably do these videos by myself, and maybe you should do it by yourself, and it wouldn't be a 2-hour video, but it wouldn't be as much fun, because I love talking to you and seeing what you got, because we don't tell each other what we got before we do these videos. So I'm seeing it for the first time with you guys, and so is Connor. So, in fact, Connor was very mad at me for what I did with the thumbnail because he was looking at it to see what I got, and then I didn't tell him. So we found out along with you, and it's been quite a journey, a 2-hour and 3-minute journey so far. So thank you guys for joining us. Any closing words, Connor? Oh no, we lost him.
I paused.
Just dramatic
there
effect.
For a second. Okay. I just wanted to say. Yeah. I just wanted to say. Oh my gosh, I keep freezing up. I just wanted to say, geez, okay. I just wanted to say.
He's never going to get to say
I just wanted to say that it was amazing that we had like no overlap. Like we had like a unique 23.
Yeah, the only overlap was the Phantom Carriage.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that's crazy that we both got 23 things without communicating with each other at all, and we both got completely different 23 things. So yeah, that's awesome. I might have got Citizen Kane if I was able to get into the store, but I went to a I didn't even tell this story. On Tuesday, I went to a Barnes & Noble. I was already in the area because I was running a Target. I went to Barnes & Noble, and I was like, it was like 8:46. And I went to the Barnes & Noble, and it wasn't open yet. And on the sign, it said it opens at 9. So I was like, okay, we'll just sit here for like 15 minutes and talk, and then we'll go in, and I'll look at all the 4Ks. And 15 minutes go by, still no one going in, no one coming out. 6 more minutes go by. At 9:06, the woman comes out and is like, hey, we don't open till 10. Then what is this? What is this? The window says you open at 9. What? How confusing is that? That's the whole, like, why? So anyway, I did not go back that day because I was frustrated, and I was like, I'm not driving all the way back over there to see if they have the 4Ks. I will get the Citizen Kane one eventually, but I was in a bad mood, and it seems like my store might not have even had them. So I'm glad, because I would have been really upset if I drove all the way back there and they didn't have it anyway. So I'm glad I didn't do that. But maybe in the July sale, or maybe even before that, I don't know. I will get the Citizen Kane eventually. But yeah, that was my one bad story. Everything else was positive. I'm glad. I'm happy with everything I've got. And I'm going to watch them as soon as I can. So thank you so much again, Connor, for joining me. I will let you go so you can get some food or sleep or something. And we'll be back real soon with another video. So see you guys later.
Bye-bye.